Alright, what is going on, people of the internet, and welcome back to another episode of Ark Max Speed. And this one is a back-to-back episode. We actually did record the Procoptodon only yesterday, and there's usually 2 days apart, but I figured since there was a big delay and the fact that YouTube wasn't uploading any videos, it's finally fixed now. I have to actually go onto my laptop and upload from there, so whatever, no big deal. With that, we're going to jump right in and do a back-to-back episode here. And now, this one's been pretty requested, and I kind of want to knock this one out of the way, because I don't imagine it'll be super interesting. So we're looking at the Trike this time, so I guess my character's found himself a Tyrannosaurus Rex egg and is now running away in fear of any mothers that might be lurking around the area. So basically what we're doing here is we're going to summon in a Trike, and all the commands will always be in the description, so if you want to do this in your own, you can go ahead and check there. So we're going to spawn in at level 120 to give you the best estimate at exactly how your stats are going to look like at this level. So this is kind of a video showing. And with the Trike, really, it is a necessity to kind of understand why, because the Trike has a very strict purpose, and it isn't your mount that you're going to have as your personal mount for the game. A lot of people have their preferences. Somebody will have an Argent that they use just because they love the way the Argent plays. It's a great bird. It has a lot of damage. Some people will have a Quetzal as their personal mount. They love how that plays. It's very fast. It's got great stamina, and it's got amazing carrying as well as health, as well as knockback, actually, so you can take on some pretty big foes with it. Some people will take like a Rex for damage, and maybe speed isn't necessarily something that they want, but they want damage and weight, which is something that a Rex is very good at offering, as well as a Spino for swimming. But a Trike is not something you're going to see that somebody has as their go-to mount. You're never really going to hear about somebody who says, oh yeah, my go-to is this Trike here. We got Mike the Trike, and he's my favorite because he's really slow. He doesn't have an amazing amount of health, and his melee damage is pretty lackluster. No, you're never really going to hear that. But the Trike has a very specific role early game, which is why it's unlocked at level 15, the saddle for it at least. Because it is used to collect berries and be an early food source in the game. Because you won't have raptors at level 15 reasonably. Actually, I think you unlock the Trike saddle level 20. I'm going to go ahead and correct myself there. You get it at level 20, and the raptors you get at 15. Unfortunately, raptors can be pretty tricky to tame early game, at least one that's worthwhile having like level 80 or above. So the Trike here, as you can see, gets about 6.6 or 5.6% per level, which is a pretty good increase. You see here we get up to 550%, and this is your new walking speed, which is actually pretty decent, and the new running speed is definitely more than capable. Now, for the role that the Trike plays in the game, it is a smart build, because the Trike's main goal is to go around and collect berries, and to maximize its efficiency you don't really need more weight, because berries don't weigh a lot, and getting a couple hundred berries will last you for about a week in game of Ark time. Now you can see here, when you make your Trike this fast early game, you're going to have no problem collecting a ton of berries, and it's an even better swimmer, which is pretty impressive. Now, swimming for the Trike is quite good. The stamina is pretty decent underwater. On land, the stamina is kind of bad, but that is not really a big deal since this is never going to be your go-to venturing mount. This is definitely just going to be considered your pack mule or maybe your gatherer for berries or thatch early game. Of course, it gets outdated pretty quickly as you get to level 30, 35 with the Stego, the Ankylo, and the Mammoths around level 40, but the Trike definitely holds a large place in probably a lot of people's hearts just because it is one of the staples for dinosaurs. It's one of the big names in dinosaurs, just like the Tyrannosaurus Rex is, just like the Stego is, and just as the Spino is now because of its recent popularity thanks to Ark. But I think I'm fresh out of suggestions for the next episode of Max Speed, so if you do have any, you can definitely leave them in the comments, and I'll be checking through them. I always read them. I always reply to them. If they're, good comment, I'll probably reply to it. So, that's pretty much going to do from us. This Trike, you can see I've taken it over to Death Island, and it was actually pretty impressive what it could do. It had certainly no problems crossing the water, and I didn't have Infinitestats turned on. And I think I only lost maybe half of my stamina, which is kind of a sight to behold, to be honest, because the Trike was always pretty well known as this terribly slow and sluggish mount, and all of a sudden you have this thing, which surprised me to say the least, because I thought this would be pretty boring, kind of like the Stego. The Stego, if you remember, if you ever saw that video, There's not a lot of reason to do that. It's pretty slow either way. But the Trike you can see here has no problems following my character around when he's actually, this is on walking speed right here. And the Trike can catch up to me, which is quite impressive. So to give you a bit of an update on the tower defense right before we jump off here, we're probably going to host that next weekend if you join the Steam group. All the information there, you can just come on, you can raid us, we'll give you explosives and everything, but it's going to take a hell of a long time to set up. So we'll probably have that on next weekend. Check the Steam group for any information for the future, and if you got any suggestions for the next episode of Ark Max Speed, you can leave them in the comments. Melee damage series has been postponed until the Ark devs give us some clarity on what's going to be happening with the dinosaur buffs and nerfs. But anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of Ark Survival Evolved. Peace.